Good morning, everybody. Hey, Nick.
Good morning.
Hey, Rob.
There's already conversation going. Do we want to join that one about the tattoo? Probably not.
I thought it was pretty recently.
Karan's got a tramp stamp.
Oh, no. So we have Tudor predictions up today, right?
Yeah. So we have some predictions that each of us came up with, and Nick worked on the Photoshop. So hope you guys enjoy what we came up with. Some of them are pretty interesting and very possible, and some are very not possible.
Sadly.
Well, we'll let you judge, but
Sadly so. Yeah, so I mean, I guess in terms of disclaimers though, like we didn't have any inside information. Did you have any inside information? Because I didn't. Like, if you left me out of the inside information, you could tell me.
I still wouldn't share it with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cold-blooded.
So then it's safe to say that none of these actually exist, that this is just mere speculation. It's not based on any insider knowledge. It's just based off of Photoshop powers and imagination, right? Like
imagination. The SpongeBob.
So, Robert, you didn't get tipped off, right? Like, no one like contacted you from Tudor and said, this is what we're making this year.
No, as much as I wish that they would consult with me, because I feel like I could help them out. As I told Chris that when we were texting, I said, more people should listen to me. But no, nobody contacted me. It's just out of my own brain.
I thought that was really weird.
All right. Yeah, you also have a giant spider behind you. So yeah, that's kind of dangerous.
Hopefully it doesn't get you.
Wilson knows everything, and he's going to tell us in about 2 weeks. So Wilson has the inside information, but maybe not. Maybe that's not true. I don't know, but apparently.
Well, at least he's giving us a deadline. All right. You want to start with the first?
Yeah, sure. So the first one up is actually a prediction from Rob, and now on this one, I got the text Black Bay Hulk, and I already had open the Black Bay 58, so I grabbed that. So if that's it might be smaller than you imagine, but go ahead and tell us, like, why this one?
So yeah, this one's been floating around online for the last little bit, and it makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. So obviously the Hulk, the Rolex Submariner, is a super popular watch. It's insanely popular, right? When you're fetching double retail plus whatever, and it's discontinued, it's only going to get more valuable. And you've got the new release, the Cermet, the Starbucks, whatever you want to call it. It's not the same as the Hulk, right? I think everybody can attest, like, it's not the same. It's also not the Kermit. It's its own variation. That's why I kind of like the Starbucks, if you will. So it makes sense, given that Tudor is what Rolex used to be. It makes sense for them to kind of bring back a watch that used to be there, right? And it doesn't hurt the Hulk. It doesn't touch the Submariner, right? Because they're not going. Now, you see, I saw that Harrods comment, and yes and no. I think it could be kind of similar, but the way that they could play with it, especially being in the 58 case, I like what you did, Nick, putting it in the 58 there. But yeah, the way that they could phrase, or they could shape the coloring and everything, it could be different enough from Harrods to stand alone. But the 58's already proven to be an insanely popular model. The 41's still popular, but I think it's safe to say that the 58, and Karan, maybe in the chat you could chime in here, but I imagine that the 58 is outselling the 41. And so if they brought this in the new Hulk, or whatever you want to call it, the mini Hulk, whatever, it would basically just be printing money.
Maybe they just call it the Bruce.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Bruce Banner there.
They probably will, actually.
Yeah. Would they do? I imagine it would probably be the matte finish, just because that's kind of how they've been going. But do you think this might be an opportunity to cross over and do that kind of light play between, is it black, is it green, with the sunburst and all of that, or do you think they'd just keep this matte green?
I think honestly, I think that they would keep with the matte, just because if you look at every other model that they've got, whether it's the silver, like literally the whole range kind of has that flat matte kind of finish or whatever. And also that is different from the Hulk, right? When you consider
Right.
the ceramic, the sunburst effect on the dial and everything like that, you could bring in a flat 58 and it would literally be the opposite of just about everything on the regular the regular Hulk. And so then you've got two different watches. And then when you think about it, if you tell somebody, yeah, you don't want to spend 20K, 25K, whatever it's up to now on a Hulk, you can go down to your AD Quran and throw down, $4,000. Boom, done.
Yep. Or I guess in a few weeks or whenever this would be potentially coming out, it'd be even, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Yeah.
Whatever they're asking.
Exactly. But yeah, seriously, like this is literally printing money. If they release this, it is sold.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't really.
Chris, have you seen the new clasp on the Black Bay bronze? Do you think they would put that on this one?
Oh yeah. I think no, I don't think they will, because they like to take something out. They can't give you everything. And Tudor always seems to go like right to the edge of like what everyone would prefer, and then they take out one thing, and then it's like, so like they would do like a matte green with no clasp or something. So I don't see them doing that.
That's so true, Chris, because when you think about it, like the Black Bay 41, the GMT could be potentially the perfect watch, but it's too thick.
Right.
Or like, yeah, you're right. They take everything and then just remove one, maybe two really
yeah.
I thought that was the snowflake hour hand for most people. Like, hey, let's just cover up a huge portion of the dial.
Yes, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of like it for like the nostalgic reason. But.
Yeah, kind of nice.
Yeah, and given
all right.
Yeah. Right.
So let's go ahead and look at the next one. We have a lot of them to get to. So we have this one, which is actually staying within the world of the BB58, which there's not a huge variety when we look at some of the more popular releases from Tudor, but this one again is kind of borrowing from Rolex's design drawer, I guess you could say. So Chris, this was your pick. You predict a two-tone BB58.
Yeah, I mean, so far they've done every type of material, so I think maybe combining the materials now would be like a logical next step. And they could use the same kind of gold that they did on the Chrono two-tone. So, they would obviously not use, full 18 karat or anything like that, but I think they could definitely do something like this in a more budget friendly, like I think it's gold capped or something. So it's something different, not too much more expensive, and within budget. So
yes, I don't know if this one's a crowd pleaser based on the comments here, but
no. But if you're in that price range, you can get some gold, I guess.
Yeah. I actually like this, but I have a bluesy too, and I like the bluesy. So the one part that doesn't work with this is the bracelet, because I screwed up on the photoshopping of it. They would just fall apart. They're not actually linked together. So they're magnetic links. That's how it works. There's no clasp.
Yeah. Well, and
so Rob, what do you think?
I think people would complain the most about the rivets again, which they've been complaining since the beginning. The BB bluesy.
I like that, Wilson. That's a good one.
The bluesy.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not super big on. One of the only watches that I feel like I really am drawn to that's two-tone is the Date Just, or maybe the Day Date, something like that. But I actually don't mind it. I think it works. I think I definitely think that they should get rid of the rivets and clean it up a little bit. But I like it. I like this better than the two-tone Explorer. I mean, that one I
Yeah.
still can't get on board with that one, but this one I could get on board with.
I think it's just, it's just kind of fun.
Now,
You're not,
Chris,
yeah.
let me ask you the question that I got asked. Do you think that they do anything with the dial? Do they use kind of that same trend of using the same navy or whatever that they've used in all of the other iterations? Or do they switch it up and try and throw in, kind of jazz this up with the sunburst or something like that?
I think they would stick with probably the navy from the regular blue BB58. Because I mean that blue is pretty different from most of the Rolex blues, and it's not
I
the
love that
Polaris blue. Yeah, and it's a great color, and I think it would match with gold.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they try and also use that same blue, that same maroon or whatever. Like there's that cross product, cross model. So it's like you kind of almost get that same feeling regardless of whatever model you're dipping your toe in.
Yeah, so it's not quite a fan favorite, but I mean,
So Wilson actually has all the predictions in. So apparently this is it. This is the insider info. Platinum, Black Bay. I mean, they did gold. What am I laughing at? They could happen. Marie National, New Pelagos, Tudor Sub, and apparently the gifts are already on the way. Not really. I can't speak for Quran there, but. All right. Okay, so here we go. I predict that Tudor may release a Black Bay GMT no date, and it's also known as the Black Bay GMT no date wheel issue, because a lot of times when I hear about what people are asking about, should I get a GMT? Regardless of whether or not Tudor may have fixed or adjust or changed the design, whenever rumors have said, someone is going to come in on the forums and be like, well, you can't because the date wheel might change weird. And so this one avoids that whole discussion. It's kind of like, you can't have a date wheel issue if you don't have a date wheel, if you know what I mean. This one, there is no date. And honestly, I think that kind of makes sense for a GMT. And hear me out. If you have a GMT watch, you're looking at two different time zones. You're looking at, home and away. And it can be a different date, home and away. And that breaks my brain a lot. So it actually is nice to not have a date staring at you thinking, oh, well, it's, 2 a.m. on the 18th. No, it's 2 a.m. on the 19th in some other time zone, maybe. And in this one, it might be different. So maybe we have what was that?
That just makes too much sense.
I know, right? So I think a no date GMT, very low effort. They could keep the same movement, toss out the date wheel, cover it up and fill it in, do a little bit of drywall patching there on the dial. And I think it would still sell. Most of the Black Bay line doesn't have a date anyway. So I think that kind of makes sense. What do you think, Rob? You're looking skeptical.
Well, no. So I'm this one, I'm conflicted. So I bought this when it very first came out. To me, this was supposed to be my perfect watch. But like Chris and I talked about earlier, they messed one or two things up. And one of the ones for me was the thickness. That was what I just couldn't get over. It was just too much. It was way too much. Even if they chamfered the bottom of the case and tried to, make it visually less, it was still a hunk of steel on your wrist. But I enjoyed the date. I never had a date issue with mine while I had it. And I'll be honest, I really like this. I really, really like it. But I do like the date because that's one of the things that kind of stood out to me for the Black Bay GMT was there was this and the steel, and that was it. So if you wanted a Black Bay with a date, you had to go either the steel or the GMT. And I think that's one of the ways that kind of helps stand out. And also I like the fact that it didn't have a Cyclops. But again, I really, really like this. If they release this, I honestly think it would sell, easily I shouldn't say easily, but it would be on par with the date model, if not more, because I do think that the date thing scares people. It scared me. I still bought the model, right? I mean, but if I had this option, I would definitely consider this because I wouldn't have to worry about the supposed, or I guess it's not supposed, but it's a real thing, the real issue of the date wheel sticking.
Yeah, and in theory, this one's going to be thinner too, has the new clasp on it, and let's say the crown is made of platinum. Why not? Chris, what do you think?
I love it, but it's just like Rob said about the thicknesses. I've tried it on, and it does wear a little thick for me as well. It's just so close to being perfect.
It really is.
There's not a lot of GMTs with in-house movements at that price range, and if they could just get like a millimeter off, it would be pretty perfect. But
nice. All right, let's move on from this one. We have next up a prediction from Rob of a ceramic chrono, and that's all I got to go on. So I assumed that meant the chrono with a ceramic bezel, but it could mean like full ceramic case.
So that's I apologize. I should have specified. I was trying to go through my mind when Chris had asked me about Tudor models, predictions or whatever. And I remember that they had that nice Wilson. I remember that they had that Fast Rider collection that was a bunch of ceramic cases, and then I started thinking like, well, you've got Zenith and all these other ones coming out with, IWC and all these other companies doing the full ceramic cases. Tudor Rolex does not have a ceramic case, and the Fast Rider has been discontinued. Why not use everything from the Chrono that's already been a success and throw it in a ceramic case? Now, I love the Photoshop. This is also a great option to pick from. I think some people wanted this, when they released the Chronos, right? They wanted this kind of poor man's Daytona, if you will. Again, this would be an amazing release. I think it would be awesome. But the one that I was suggesting was the full ceramic case with this dial layout to kind of play with the black, the white, this little splash of red, and to kind of feel that niche of if you wanted a ceramic watch, that kind of racing kind of feel, you would go with this.
And plus, what color ceramic? Would it be like all black ceramic or?
Yeah, I think a matte ceramic, again, similar to the Fast Rider, if you guys can remember that. Yeah. But I think having it in ceramic would also kind of alleviate some of the issues with the girth, as it's been put as in the comments there. Like it's it's going to lighten it up, right? Throw that on a strap. I'm not saying full ceramic bracelet or whatever. I think that's kind of a bit of a stretch to start with. I mean, that might be a release later down the road. But if they came out with a full ceramic case with a nice Kevlar kind of looking strap or whatever, I think it would sell like crazy.
Yeah, almost certainly, I think. Yeah. Agree with that. So we'll just imagine that this is a black ceramic case that we're seeing here. Would it still have a ceramic bezel or?
Yeah, ceramic, full ceramic everything, just with the panda dial on the inside, that little splash of red, and the nice deployant clasp on your your strap or whatever, and you'd be set.
Nice.
A racing chrono.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. All right, next up we have a prediction from Chris. A Pelagos Kermit. It says Frog Edition over on the right here. Also, I figured that if they were going to be modifying it in any way, they would add some text because every modification.
I don't think there's enough. You only added one line.
Yeah, well, I filled the space at the bottom. I almost added Illuminator right under Geneve, but I figured that was like a Casio thing only. But it has a lume bezel. It felt right to say Illuminator. But yeah, tell us about this one.
It'd be a Timex knockoff. So I think this would be something they possibly could do. I know the Harrods one would look kind of similar, but I think it's just like, with the popularity of the Starbucks, then they would, it's not exactly like a Black Bay 41, so it's not quite overlapping with the Rolex, a Rolex model. So you have the titanium, and so that it kind of differentiates the Tudor model. So people who wanted the Starbucks would look at this, and it's still a Tudor model. So that's kind of my thought on, and it's pretty easy for them to do, I think.
Yeah.
Just a bezel change.
Make a bezel insert green. They don't have to they share parts between two different watches almost entirely, except for the dial, the extra line of text. What do you think, Rob?
You get that.
I love this. I think, I definitely think, I think it's different enough from the Harrods that this could easily be something. And you could definitely be fun with it, like have the line, have the text down there be green, or maybe you take a cue from the left-hand drive version where it alternates with a roulette wheel. Maybe you throw some green, with the roulette style or whatever. I think that would look really, really cool in kind of those kind of flat ceramic. Actually, I don't remember. Is the bezel ceramic on this? I can't remember.
Yeah. I think it's ceramic, and it's the loom is actually separate pieces entirely. So like they have. I'm actually wearing it right now. It has a ceramic cutout for all of the loom pips and everything else, and then the loom itself is smashed in there, but then it's like completely flush. It's pretty wild how they set that up. But all ceramic.
I think this would be awesome. This would be a fun watch.
I think it would be pretty cool.
And it's definitely different enough from either the left hand or just a regular black one that they could coexist.
All right, so I guess wrist check. So Chris, what are you wearing?
So I have the only thing closest to Tudor that I own is a Rolex. So
nice.
Decided to wear that.
So I thought about doing my Black Bay 41 with the ETA, but I felt like that was too on the nose. So this is on loan from Serica. Jerome was kind enough to lend this to me. And so it is the 4512, their California dial. So
nice.
It's kind of a funky little piece. I've never had a California dial, so this is something to play around with for a little while.
Cool. And so we actually have Orange Hand here says, I hope they put the B01 movement in the Heritage Chronos. The modular movement in those is sad. That would be cool.
Okay. I wanted to be a little, in the ballpark of Tudor.
All right, cool. So
see what we have next.
No, so just one more thought on this. So I think like for this, it would be good, but I would want to see it with because they give a free rubber strap with these. I would want to see it with a green strap versus a black one, just so that if you want to like make it all green, you can. And then also offered with a black strap, so you can
ideally you'd get both and a NATO.
Yeah.
And a leather.
Yeah, and a leather.
Sorry, let's see. I missed comments. It's okay. It's okay. They scroll by so fast sometimes. All right. So next up, we have not something I predict. I predict this will not happen. This is something I want to happen. That's totally never going to happen. I want the North flag back. They took that from me. I was so sad. I wanted a little bit smaller. So this is a smaller North flag with a blue dial that has green highlights, and it's a PVD black case and bracelet. I want that. It's not a prediction that I'm going to win anything with, because I can almost guarantee that they will not do this ever. It doesn't really fit their design language. It doesn't fit.
It's very Zenith-y, I feel. With that bracelet.
But I'd buy it if that existed. I would totally buy that.
Yeah, definitely. The North flag was really cool. It was really original.
Yeah. This could be the Seahawks watch, pretty much. And it kind of matches the colors over here. I'm going to replace these lights. These ones are dying. You can watch them die their slow death over the course of watching the channel. All right, so that's enough of that one. It's not going to happen. Let's not dwell on that.
They don't hand it to you; they just throw it at you.
Yeah. All right, Rob, this is you. Smooth bezel Royal.
So, I have no idea if these are popular. I haven't really looked into it. I like them. There's a little bit of an issue I take with the placement of the day wheel, but it is what it is. I think that if they bring this out, this could be a nice little change up for them with very little effort, swapping the bezel out and keeping everything else. I mean, they could basically just have this be the date just version, like keep all the same versions, the models, whatever you want to call it, and just throw in whether you get the smooth or the engine turn bezel, and you got a winner. Like, it's a nice, classy watch. Some people don't like the extra little flair. Maybe the bracelet's enough that you've got the polished and everything like that. But you throw that bezel on there. There you go. Yeah, see, exactly. Get an oyster quartz instead. I agree. Those are awesome. But, for the way those things are going up, you can get this for cheaper probably than an oyster quartz. Yeah, I think just simple change. Like, it really doesn't require much effort on their part, and it might appeal to more people.
Yeah, but it definitely doesn't add much effort. I don't know. I think I would pair it with a different bracelet at that point. I feel like the I don't know, like what is the bezel they had on before? Was it engine turned?
Yeah, it's an engine turned bezel, so it's not like the full fluted or whatever, but it's
right.
More that engine turned style. And so that's what I was thinking, like kind of the date just kind of whatever, like thinking, okay, we got to change up the bezel, but we can't get too crazy, so let's do. And then I started thinking, I did think about the bracelet, but the way it integrates into the case, I don't know. I guess, I mean, technically you could maybe try and throw on more of like the Tudor oyster style if you wanted, but I just thought this would be an easy option for them to just create an extra couple bezels and, still a few more units.
Yeah, I think if they like took see how there's like two lines of polished links in the middle of these brushed links? I think if they just connected those two into one, so it's kind of this more, like you said, this more oyster style, that I think would work better with the smooth bezel, because I think you get those two lines of, reflections that work nice with the engine turn. It's similar in style. And I think if you switch it to smooth, just smooth out the bracelet as well. And then I think you have, something that's more cohesive. But yeah, I agree with you on the date window, chopping off the 3. Like, what in the world?
Yeah. Like, like Chris and I have said a few times, like, so close to what people want, but then they're just going to, throw those aside, like do their own thing, force you to want.
You have a call. Oh no. It's about the spiders. They're multiplying.
Yeah, I wish. I think that sounded like a house phone, Chris.
Yeah. Oh noes. All right. Next up, we have wait, hang on. I have 2 of your predictions in a row, apparently, but that's okay.
Okay.
You predict that Tudor may release a Polar GMT.
Yes. So again, popular model. It's been around for a handful of years now with no revisions. Seems like it's about time to kind of influx some sort of a change. And here we go. Again, basics. Let's change the dial and the bezel, but that's it. We're keeping the red hand, and we're done. It's that right there. I would buy that over the Pepsi. I think that looks amazing. Whether that's ceramic, whether that's aluminum, doesn't matter. It looks amazing. Now, mind you,
so this one I put it as aluminum, and I tried to do that. I did some custom shading over here. I kind of screwed that up. I just see that now, but I did also say, like, I saw that and you've inspired me. Like, I love that. So what if we did this?
Sick. Yeah.
What if we said, okay, the bezel ceramic, and I know I 2 of my things are just completely blacked out to everything, but And then we do a little bit of PVD on it. It's not going to happen, but I would buy that. I would also buy this. You know, I could buy either of those and be totally happy.
Well, the ceramic bezel, I think, is probably possible because it's one color and it's black. So I think they could do that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because the Pepsi, I think they had to do aluminum because it costs more money, I guess, to do the two colors.
Yes.
Yeah, this is kind of what the full range might look like if they wanted to really just make that its own little subset. You could have the aluminum bezel. You could do the ceramic bezel. You could do ceramic bezel with PVD.
I think,
and I don't think it would be that much more.
No, and really, I mean, it really isn't that crazy of a jump from where they're at now, and they're not changing movements. They're not changing cases. You know, the hands, all that stuff. Like, it really doesn't seem like it would be a huge jump for them.
Would it be like
nickname built in, the Oreo?
Oh, I like that.
I kind of feel like I would like it to be a little whiter, or are you trying to make it silver looking?
No, that's just that's the furthest white I could make it without it looking awful because of the loom.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, like, how am I going to make this mock-up actually work? So imagine it's bright white.
Okay.
But then I had to make it so you could actually still see the loom pips and know that they're raised in some way. So I made that a little bit darker because it's lower, and the loom pips whiter because they're higher. And that way you could actually still see them. I have like 5 different versions of this mock-up, and this was the closest I could get to. But it's bright white. White.
I got it.
No, I think it looks amazing.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up, let's see, where are we? We are here. This is not a prediction. This is what somebody wants. And I'm not going to name names. But somebody wishes, much like I wish for something that won't happen. I wish for the North Flag, that Tudor would release a James Cameron GMT. So a GMT with a James Cameron dial, James Cameron style dial, right? So like the Deep Sea. The hint of green will be the GMT hand, and the bezel will be a this kind of Batman style bezel. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of makes sense with the chunkiness of it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The James Cameron is a ridiculous watch to begin with. Let's just make a GMT version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love the James Cameron minus the thickness, and so yeah, this is a great color scheme. I like the green on the GMT hand. That's a nice little touch.
Someone doesn't like it.
It's like, this is a monstrosity. It physically offends me. I will say, it does feel like a Seiko mod, right? So it feels like, I've put my whole wish list into this. It's not my wish list. I'm just throwing this out there. And I've made something with it. And, this could be, this could be one that pleases a few. And
yeah, I think we might need to do a wellness check on David here in a little bit.
David might be broken.
The James Wayne.
All right.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't buy it, but I don't hate it either. All right, so just kind of rounding it up, this is kind of that full prediction set. Now this ignores a few in the set, I should say, because it ignores the GMT line with the polar. It includes just one representative of that. Actually, it doesn't. I lied. This is on a separate slide entirely. And then it doesn't include the North Flag because that's just me saying, please, Tudor, and they're not going to do it. So looking back at the full set, which of these, and this is for everybody, not just those that are on the stream proper, but anyone in the comments too, which of these do you think Tudor will actually make? So they'll actually make it, include in the Polar GMT, which is not on the same slide, but which do you think they will actually do, most likely? We can start with Chris.
Just from what I guess how Tudor does things, the obvious ones like a green BB-58 is pretty like, I don't think anyone would be shocked if that came out. The no date, I think, is a very possible as well. And the Starbucks. So basically, green trendy watches and another option for a previous model.
Yeah, so sounds like your first guess though was the whole the angry green dude, as it says on the slide here.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in agreement with that. I think they will most likely do that more than any of these others. But I want them to do some of these others. So, like, sometimes if you rumor or say, I have insider information, it eventually comes true. Like, they'll be like, okay, but I want them most to make the one that they will not make. And but no, I think the Hulk BB-58 is the most likely of the set. What do you think, Rob?
So, to piggyback off of you guys, the easy choice is the Hulk, right? The Hulk 58, the BB Hulk, whatever we want to call it. I'm gonna say,
I don't know. Orchan has a good point.
Yeah, that's true. So, I'm in talking this through. My first guess was the green, but I'm going to go something crazy, and I'm going to actually say something that we haven't even talked about, something that I did not send to Chris. I just thought of this. So green was the trend for a while, but I'm going to actually go red. I'm going to go red style.
All right.
Something
would
crazy.
They do?
I've been seeing a little red trickle in more and more, and I'm going to go off the wall and say they're going to do the red sub, because that does exist. That if you look that up, there was a Tudor sub, and that's where they got the inspiration for the maroon for the original Black Bay release. But I'm going to say the red dial, something crazy.
All righty. And would it be stainless steel or what?
Yeah, we'll go steel. We'll go steel with the maroon or whatever, but it's going to be full maroon, dial and bezel.
All right, so David says he's bummed that I didn't mock up a full sapphire case minute repeater. But Watch Whimsy is right on board with the red. The red, I think that would do really well, because there's not really an option to get that anywhere at the moment. So
no, exactly, and the only reason why, so in just us talking in this conversation, I started thinking through my head of like, I have seen a few watches, like big brands, relatively big brands, start to release more and more of these red dials. And I could see it something crazy. I could see, just given the demand for that mythical prototype red sub, that the Tudor sub that they had, that they could do something crazy and put it in the Black Bay.
Yep. And rose instead of a shield, that would be interesting. I've noticed that like Tudor, it's a great opportunity for Rolex to play around with, let's try to experiment, do some of these wild things and see what the market will buy. It's kind of hard to gauge the feedback when the market will buy almost literally anything. But I think that one would do especially well. And I don't know, do you think that would trickle back up? You think Rolex would look at that and say, well, I guess we could do it, because they're kind of getting adventurous again, with the new OP line and all of that we've seen, all these bright colors. Do you think they would bring that into their professional line as well?
I think that they could, honestly. I just saw something on Instagram yesterday or the day before about some titanium prototype Yachtmaster with no date.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, I think it would be like a Yachtmaster or a what do you call it? A Milgauss.
Yeah.
Just probably not like their classic subs and part of those lines, just because I feel like that's green is their color. So they want to kind of stick with that. So I think it makes sense for Tudor though, because red is kind of their color. I mean, it's in their logo,
right.
But they haven't really done too much with it, like other than maybe like a Fast Rider. So,
I mean, seriously, like it could, and the fact that you brought up the Milgauss, Chris, that would make sense. I mean, if you even go way back the Milgauss had that little splash of red, in the writing and everything like that. So like you could play around in a variety of different ways with the red in the Rolex line and be successful.
Yeah, that would be cool. Finding a red dial Milgauss with especially if they had like the sea blue, how you have kind of that interesting mix of colors between the crystal and the dial. If they did something like that, I'm not proposing the same green crystal over red. I'm not sure if that would work, but some sort of like maybe they do a red AR coating over some other dial.
That would
bring
be
it back
cool.
in. So. All right, I think that about wraps it up this week. Any other things to say here before we kind of wrap it up?
Which ambassador would wear one of these watches?
Which ambassador? Ooh.
Well,
who are the ambassadors? We got David Beckham. Who else do we got?
You got Lady
Gaga. Yeah.
Lady Gaga. Okay.
Gaga's gonna rock. She's gonna rock the Hulk or the Royal.
Yeah, I was about to say the Royal probably.
I would have thought the steel and gold.
I could see David Beckham wearing the James Cameron one.
He would. He would totally.
Or he could rock your full blacked out Polar GMT.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I could actually see him wearing that, honestly. But Machine Gun Kelly for that disgusting James Batman.
I heard he got booed.
So Wilson apparently is already one for pinpoint predictions, seeing into the future. All right. So I think that about wraps it up. We have a few other things coming up. So we have Nick's Picks Watch Reviews at 10:15. Have a review of what's in this box, which it says Tudor, but it's not a Tudor watch. Or not Tudor, sorry. It says Tag, but it's not a Tag watch. It's just a box that fits nicely. It's going to be the Yachtmaster today. So that should be fun over on Nick's Picks Watch Reviews. We also have a trunk show coming up down in Las Vegas, first week of November. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be down there. Who else is coming?
I'm coming.
Sounds amazing.
Unfortunately.
Nice. So I'll be there. Should be a lot of fun. Any other things to announce or say?
Yeah, so we should have Rob's reports coming up around 12.
Nice.
So look forward to that.
So we'll drop some links in the chat after this episode as well. Wilson is serving the water at the trunk show. Nice. And David will be there. Kim will be there. And yeah, nice. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to kind of meet everybody in the chats or whatever on the channel and start putting some faces to names.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thanks,
we'll
all.
See you the next show. Bye-bye.